Good afternoon. I want to show you something today, real quick. This is not too exciting, but I always have to show you my firewood piles. Just wanted to show you all the wood I have for this year so far. These piles are it's about 7 cords, 4 rows deep back there. I switch back and forth each year. That's next year's. I just finished it. This will be, actually that's 2025. This is this year's, this winter's. All of this is softwood, pretty much. This will be burned in, I just learned they call it the shoulder season. It's like fall and spring where, you know, warm days, cool nights, that kind of thing. So you burn junk wood. So that's my firewood. I wanted to show you something today because it's nice and clear out and it's been warm. And apparently the apple blossoms have bloomed. And I was just walking past there a few minutes ago and I said I got to get this on video because everyone's going to love this. So it's the 20th today, 20th of May, and the leaves popped out last week. And they're not completely bloomed yet, but they're pretty much here, I guess. See, these are 2 apple trees right here, and they're not, there's some flowers, not many. But these are the big ones. This is sort of like one of those weird crab apple trees that has those medium-sized tart apples. This, I think, is like a golden delicious. This is a pear tree that, no, a peach tree, I think, that never gives us any fruit. This one gives us good fruit every single year, and then by the time anything ripens, they're all eaten, or I don't know, the deer, something happens to them. I think they all fall down. The deer eat them. But I mean, look at these blossoms. So nice. But I do want to show you something else as well. This is the little pond we have. And we caught a big, huge bullfrog. Oh, I think he's right. No, there's one frog. It's not the bullfrog though. Check this out. It's gonna jump. I don't know if you can see him. Oh, there's one. I'm gonna try to, I wonder if I could zoom in here. There it is. That's not the big one though. It's a type, I think that might be the same type of frog. I'm not sure. Okay. But there's the pond. I'm gonna bring you in the woods today. Just to show you real quick, I cut a new trail yesterday. And I wanted to give sort of like a quick tour for, you know, my father, a couple of my friends who've never seen the woods before. This was a spot I took this rock out. It was like 6 inches high and it was such a pain. And this is the rock. Look how big this rock is. And it was this little spot sticking out, that little tip right there. But of course, it couldn't be a 6-inch rock, but it had to be this whole big thing under the ground. It took me an hour to dig out. And I looked up online to see how much granite weighs, and a cubic foot of granite weighs 165 pounds. So that rock I'm going to guesstimate at like 3 cubic feet. So what is that, 100 or 300 and something pounds? I don't know. I think it weighs a ton. There was tons of storm damage in the woods this year from the wind. A couple winter storms. So some of these trees fell over. I cut most of them up. But there is stuff like this. This thing that I've got to look at when I walk by every day. It's kind of ugly, but I'll get to it. We got a couple leaners, like this big thing. cut that up too. That's nice and dry. It's been standing for years, and it's perfect firewood for the fall. Like these, those are dead. I might cut them down too, put them on the pile. You could burn them, as soon as you cut them down, you can burn them. And it's awesome for October, those cold October nights. It's perfect firewood. So a couple years ago, I began cleaning the floor of the forest. This is primarily white pine, and it was a mess in here. And I started kind of stacking. I didn't know what to do with the wood, so I kind of just stacked it up. And now I have 100 piles, these, you know, brush piles, because I don't have a chipper. And I'm not going to burn it back here, I'll end up burning the forest down. So now I have these piles, and I learned that these piles are actually good for habitat for wildlife. So rabbits use them, the squirrels live in there, and I don't know. It doesn't look great, but it cleaned the forest up. Look at the little trees. So now I don't have to step over dead trees that are all falling all over, you know, all over the place. It's just nice. You know what I'm going to do first? I'm going to bring you back to the brook. We have a brook in the back here. We have 5 acres long over here, and the whole entire property length has a stream that runs along it, and then in the back of the property we have a brook. So I'll show you the stream first. See, this is what I'm talking about. We have these leaners now from the wind. This big huge pile it's actually 2 giant spruce trees that fell a couple years ago. I just cut them up, kept them right where they fell. So this is the stream. This runs all year. We've had it dry up, I mean, maybe 2 years it's dried up, I don't know, September during a drought. But generally it runs all year long. Those were really dry years. I mean, but sometimes we come out here and drink coffee or something. We'll just sit on that little bench. I have a friend from where I grew up named Rob, and I just always talk about him when I'm back here with Laura. I say how much Rob would love this. You know, when we were kids, we used to like play in the streams and rivers and all that kind of stuff and build dams, and it's just one of those fun things you do as a kid. I could picture doing that today, you know, just doing something stupid, putting weird shoes on and, you know, putting the rocks to build like a dam. That'd be fun. This is the main trail again. This tree fell. I have yet to cut it up, and it's weird. It's like the top of this tree. This is like a bird condo. Check this out. If I could zoom in here. Look at all those holes. Now this brook that we're approaching is probably 3 times the size of the stream over there, and it definitely runs all year long. If there were fish in there, I don't know if there are any fish in there, but I think rumor has it that the people who bought some, like over 100 acres upstream and stocked it with some trout or something like that. So there might be fish in here now, I don't know. But it's just a beautiful, beautiful place. I love it. We're gonna get shoes. You know, like those little slip-on water shoes that you could walk up the stream in the summer when it's real low. Now this is my phone I'm recording with, and I'm recording to a data card that's probably 10 years old. So for some weird reason in these videos, it skips. It makes like a weird jump. I don't edit this at all. I just upload it straight from the phone. I think the data card doesn't, you can't like write to the data card very quickly. And that's what's causing the problem. So I have to get a new one. Let me just show you this corner here. It's a different part of the stream up here. It's like a little swimming hole. And this has grown since the last time I was here. Now I gotta walk through this. Oh, we'll go this way. So this is like, I don't know, it used to be. It doesn't look that deep anymore, but it used to be like 4 feet deep in the spring. Thought we could swim in there. Oh, there's a couple little fish. I don't know if you can see them. Yeah, there's a few little fish in there. Those little minnows. Okay. So, I'm going to show you this one trail that I just cut. I like to come out here sometimes, like I did yesterday, and just work. You just cut trails, sweat for a couple hours. It's good, I think. I mowed this little section, so cuts down on the ticks and all that kind of stuff and all the bugs. But it's a nice little corner of the property. We have the original property that we bought here in 2013 was 5 acres, and then we bought the parcel next to us. It's like 10 acres. So now we have 15. The house is probably on, the house and the lawn is probably 2 acres. So the rest is woods. And I cut trails all the time and come back here and get firewood and all that kind of stuff. It's nice. We walk out here pretty much every day, just do a big loop. And for the longest time I've been wanting to take a video to show everyone. But every time I take a video I say, like when I'm walking back here, I say, oh, how beautiful it is. But then I take a video and I say, boy, that place is ugly on camera. But whatever. Maybe today it'll look good. It's a work in progress. And I'm gonna get one of those little camera holder things, like that's got a handle so my thumb doesn't keep blocking the lens. I like doing these walking videos. It's nice. I mean, look at this. So these are primarily white pines in here. White pines in Maine, I don't know. I mean, this wood was cut, this forest was cut, I don't know, 30 years ago. And these things just sprung up. Almost invasive. They're almost an invasive species because what happens is they grow and they grow so fast, they crowd out all the hardwoods. So you see some hardwoods in here, that are trying to get some light, but these white pines just completely took over. Beautiful trees, but... And these little guys are all balsam firs, like this. They're all balsam firs, which is a beautiful Christmas tree. And they smell like oranges when you crack the needles in your fingers. So let's go up here. I have these visions of setting the camera up on a little tripod while I'm like doing like a, what is that? Fast motion, time lapse while I'm cutting trees back here. I think that'd be kind of cool. I could title it Cutting Firewood in Maine, and it would absolutely go viral. I just know it. My videos would all go viral if I had catchy titles like that. I'd get at least 100 views. Let me show you something fast. I was out here 2 days ago cutting this tree up. This big pine tree fell over. So what I do, this is a balsam fir that fell over. I cut the branches off. I cut it up into firewood. And so I'll split up the bigger pieces. I'll stack it in the driveway, let it dry out. Hopefully by this October it'll be dry, and I'll burn it in the fireplace, in the wood stove. And everyone says you can't burn pine. And I agree, you can't burn wet pine, because wet pine is a mess and it will clutter your chimney up. Dry pine, on the other hand, you could burn just fine. I clean my chimney 2 times a year. I put a ladder up against the chimney and make sure it's clean. The cap gets cluttered no matter what I do. It doesn't matter. It's got a screen in it, so that gets filled up with schmutz. But it doesn't matter if I burn pine or hardwood. The same thing happens. So you can burn pine. And people all over the country burn pine all the time, especially out west. That's one of the primary firewoods. All right, so let's go into this is what I cut yesterday. This was an old logging road that was cut probably 60 years ago. And what happened was, after it was cut, it started growing moss over the whole thing. So basically, I'm going to come back here with a lawnmower and take out these little trees right here. I'm going to kind of mow it a little bit just to get the stuff out of the way. But this is the one I cut yesterday. And it's nice and mossy and shady. There were just a bunch of little pine trees in here. So before I show you the rest, let me show you my pile of brush that came from this trail. I try to keep everything piled up in, like one spot per trail just to keep it neater looking. So this is all there's some logs. These logs, if you look at them, these were cut. This is old, I don't even know what it is, like cherry trees or something, cut 60 years ago, at least 60 years ago, that were still under the moss. I think they're cherry, because if you look at it, that looks like a cherry branch. And it's still hard. Trees take forever to decay in a forest, especially if they have no air. So once the moss grows over them, it's almost as if they're preserved. And they're still here. You can see this fallen tree. All the lumps you see under the moss here are old trees, old branches. And as I clear the trail, I try to pull them up. So this trail is going to go all the way through to a different trail over there. But I made a nice little doorway going through here to the open area. A different day, recently, I began clearing this, cleaning this up. And I'll show you, I'll go out to the main trail here and I'll turn around to show you how nice it looks now. I read recently they're doing this, I don't know, on the internet. Every once in a while they try to push how good forests are for you, for you. If you hang out with trees for a half an hour, just 30 minutes will keep you alive for 10 more years. So I think I'll be alive forever, probably, because I spend so much time in the woods here. And these are the other trails that I made a while ago. Maybe we'll go up there. So maybe next time I'll do a whole walkthrough of the entire forest. I don't want to make this video too long. But rest assured that I could go on all day. And it's already been, let's see, it says 21 minutes. I've been talking about nothing. We're having our road graded today. It's a dirt road. And once a year, this giant grading machine comes by and smooths out all the potholes. So if I make it out on the lawn when the grader's coming by, I'll show you that. This is our old mailbox. The people who lived here before us put this up out on the street and it started falling over. So I put a front on there and cut a hole in it. Maybe some bird will live in it or something. I don't know, it's kind of cool. I've seen squirrels go in there. I don't know if anything's living in it now. There are these people, I watch these videos of these guys over in England, in the Cotswolds, and they have their cameras out and they do these walks through these little villages and stuff. And I hear these birds, they do it at like 5 in the morning, when no one's there. And I hear these birds chirping, and I swear they add these birds, the sounds of the birds, to the video. And I think you could hear all the birds here. I don't have to add any. And the reason I think they add them is because one time someone was doing some drone video and he was like 1,000 feet above the trees and you see the treetops and the birds are still there, chirping, just as if he was on the forest floor. Yep, I can hear the grader now. No, the grader's already gone. He's at the end of the road. So one more thing. These trees, these little pine trees, I planted 10 years ago when we first arrived in 2013. One of the first things I did when we got to Maine was I ordered a bunch of Norway spruce trees, and I planted over 100 of them. I wanted to make a wall for privacy. These are balsam firs that I took from the woods. That's a balsam fir. This little guy in here is a blue spruce. Balsam fir. And they're just taking off. It takes 6 years for them to start really growing, but when they do, these things, this is a black spruce, that big one right there. This is a Norway spruce, right here. Blue spruces take forever to grow. They also apparently take forever to turn blue. This is still green. Norway spruces are awesome trees. They grow. Oh my God, look what I just found. This is interesting. Look. bird's nest with eggs. Look at that. Oh. It's crazy. Norway spruces are great, but here, for some weird reason, this little weevil beetle thing eats the tops. And you'll find that it kills the top of the trees. This is a balsam fir. This thing can go through anything. It's so tough. But the Norway spruces will die at the top. And then, see, here's an example of one. It dies on top, and you got to cut the centerpiece out. But then the outside pieces will turn straight upward, and you'll have multi tops. So if you ever wonder how those big, huge pine trees have multiple tops, that's probably what happened. See, like this is an example right here. You see how you have a bunch of straight up and down things? This is one I had to cut previous year. The same thing happens to the white pines for some reason. It's a beetle, I've seen it. And it also, the Norway spruces get some weird disease here. And I'll show it to you. I'm gonna try to avoid the junk behind the garage so you don't see it. Ignore that. That's my junk pile. I gotta get like a garbage thing or something. Check this out. It gets like a weird growths here. See them? They kind of go away through the years though. It doesn't really affect anything, but I don't know. Let's go out to the road and see how that looks. This video is way too long already. I'm gonna have to stop it soon. I planted these, and it just seems like last year these things were 2 feet high. But this year, this one I planted when they first got this as a balsam fir, and this thing just took off. And these little suckers, I have a little beech tree that I planted in the fall, and a little oak tree. In just a few days, look at the growth on this thing. All that fresh green is brand new. It's like a jungle around here. When spring hits, boy, I'll tell you, stuff grows. Let's see what we got. So what happens is, in Maine, you get mud season. Oh, look, the grader's coming. Cool. You get mud season, and the roads turn all soft, and cars drive on them, and just ruts and potholes. And let me try to zoom in. So that's what you got to do every year. And they grade the road and make it nice and smooth, so people don't break their shocks on their cars. So that's about it. Here's our cute little house and the cars. And I'll make another video soon. Have a nice day.